Russell T Davies likes to follow patterns with the way he does things. That's exactly what got people really excited about the whole Bad Wolf situation back when he did his original run on this. And he's doing a very similar thing, adding wordplay into it and kind of copying things. And that seems to be what's happening in the modern era. It feels like every episode is a copy of something else. And while this definitely follows that formula once again, and it actually very much mirrors season 1, episode 2 of the new Kutigawa deal, exactly. It actually still, and I'm going to have a risk at saying this because of the way the internet works these days, this is the best episode that we've seen in this entire era so far. It was actually pretty well done. The plot line was compelling. Things were pretty interesting. Aside from a few lines of dialogue which throw you out of it because he wanted to insert that politics, if he didn't do that, this would have been just frankly a great classic episode. I mean, it's really crazy how far it went. Now, you can see that the mainstream reviews did not like it all that much, and it's because of the silliness of it is really what I think it comes down to. 6.9 out of 10. This one says the show has jumped the shark right here. They gave it a 3 out of 5. And, I mean, that's interesting that the jumping the shark for these people in the mainstream media is actually the best written episode out of all of it. And I'll go into why in just a moment. So please hit the like and subscribe button. This is where you get the real Doctor Who news. Look, I don't just vet my opinions based on what other people are saying or anything like that. I actually tell the truth based on what is quality writing or what is not, because I am a science fiction writer, and that's what I do. So this is my science fiction series. If you like my thoughts on writing and science fiction and the like, please check it out, guys. It's a 3-book trilogy. It's called The Arishan War. It's about a human spy who embeds himself on an alien starship and then has to bring back information towards Earth, but he gets personally entangled in a way that really builds things up over the trilogy. So grab this whole trilogy, guys. It really, really, really pays off by the end of the 3rd book. I've written it with a beautiful storyline intact, and you will love this if you love good, classic, fun Doctor Who stuff. So this is in the description below. It's available on ebook, print, and audio. Thank you so much for being here and supporting our channel, and I appreciate you guys being here. So yeah, we've been just mired with identity politics, and that is the exact problem that's been going on this entire time. And this episode is very similar to that in that it did that. So much like season 1, episode 2 of this, and we'll call it season 1, season 2, even though it's season whatever it is, because it really is its own show at this point. This really doesn't mirror classic Doctor Who. And in that episode, last season, they went back to the 60s, and in the 60s, they had to fight some, like, pantheon monster from outside of time who calls itself a god. And Russell T Davies has been setting these up, saying the Celestial Toymaker was one of these, and there's a whole group of them that have been unleashed on the universe, and he's, kind of uncovering them one at a time. And so in that one, that person stole music and sound. Well, what do they steal this time? Light, visual, right, and movies, right? So it's a media thing that's getting stolen by these pantheon people. So obviously he's set up this pattern again to then build all this. Now the last episode of that first season also had one of these Pantheon members who came back and was actually a reference to a Tom Baker classic Doctor Who episode, which kind of failed on that level, and the Jinx Monsoon episode failed pretty badly as well. This one actually did pretty well on the plot level and on the entertainment value level. This was actually really high, and so. In this one, they go back, they go to the 1950s to Miami. There's an old abandoned theater. This theater, a bunch of people disappeared and the like. There's spoilers if you care, obviously. And the abandoned theater is run by this weird old man, and of course Gatwa and Verada then go in and try to investigate. Now, she starts out like last episode where she's like, why, get me home, stop going on these adventures. And that was her personality plot. She completely does a 180 in this one and realizes, the Doctor's doing great things here. I better just follow along and help him out. And then kind of apologizes to him in the middle of this for having that attitude last episode. Now, I appreciate that because I really hated her attitude last episode. I really disliked her last episode because of that. It was like, oh, she's going to be a strong girl boss who just lectures the doctor. This is going to be a lot of fun. And she didn't do that this episode, thank God. So the likability of this character went from like a 0 out of 10 to like, maybe a 4 or 5 out of 10 on this. Now, during this, of course, they make multiple comments of like, there's segregation and racism. We're not allowed to be here, the white people. Which is the parts that throw you out of this stuff. Like, you didn't need to do that. And of course, like if this was done 20 years ago, they really wouldn't have like hammed that up so much. Now, one of those instances was in a parallel universe where it wasn't even real, and the doctor actually kind of figured that out. And so it kind of mitigated itself because it was fake. But there was, again, no real reason to put that in there other than to just like try to ham up everybody's racist as a kind of theme of Doctor Who that's been going on since last season as well, when they revealed the white people in the Bubble and Dot episode were racist and didn't want to follow the Black Doctor. It was so obnoxious. And so that's the part that really threw you out on this. There's two parts to this. Number two, as they start investigating, Belinda makes a comment where she goes, "Oh, you're like Scooby-Doo." And he goes, "Oh, honey, I'm Velma," to of course ham up the Pride Parade gay stuff that they have. That was the only line of the episode where it's like, oh gosh, and it made me roll my eyes like crazy. So those couple of lines really throw you out in a couple of moments, but beyond that, it actually was amazingly done, and this was so well written. I was very, very happy. Like this, so what it had, this was going to be a cheesy concept and silly and ridiculous on top of it, and I actually like that. I like it when they push the boundaries of that sometimes, when it makes sense. And a cartoon character came to life, and the cartoon character on the screen was basically sucking people into film, and actually was trying to just, I guess, he lives off of light is what it comes down to, like a plant. And because of that, he grows in power as he gets more light and gets more people kind of into his, trapped in his little film stuff as it keeps going. And so the doctor has to deal with this. They get trapped in a film, and this is where it gets pretty interesting. They actually break the fourth wall, look at the camera, and this has all been done before. It's nothing new or innovative like that. Like I said, Russell T Davies at this point is literally just copying other things and then inserting them into Doctor Who. That's kind of part of the problem, like that we've seen, is like the old stuff used to be pretty innovative and different, and this stuff is like, oh, I remember this from this. Oh, I remember this from Deadpool, right? It's like, oh, I remember. So it's something that he's not really pushing the boundaries anymore, but he did push the boundaries a little bit. Where they go through film and they actually realize they're in a film cell and try to get out of the film cell by pulling down the film cell, and it's pretty interesting on that level and pretty neat. And they start out actually do we have some images of this? Let me see if I can find some where they actually become 2D characters. And as they realize that they have negative emotions, because the guy is all about laughter, that the negative emotions actually turn them into 3D characters. So interesting commentary on just like how you make characters have more depth to the audience, right? Because if you've got more negative emotions, that's perceived as having depth, versus the laughter and the silliness is perceived as being shallow and two-dimensional, right? Like I said, really, really well done. And I was very interested, and the theme of that is really good. Again, if Davies just left the politics at the door for just a couple of lines, it was not much in this episode, which is like rare because last episode was all about that. This could have just been just one of the top episodes of Doctor Who. It really could have been. It's really, really sad that was the case. Now, they actually go out into the world, and eventually they pop out of a television screen, and this is where it gets really weird. They actually meet Doctor Who fans, who are people watching the actual show of Doctor Who and his adventures. And while, again, this is something that's been done before, especially in comic books, it's a very comic booky type of plot to do. This is not new or innovative or anything like that. It's a kind of a copy. It was really interesting. And the Doctor Who fans started talking about liking and trying to assist the Doctor and all that. And this is where it gets interesting. There were some humor moments. I actually laughed, and I was very surprised because I've not found a lot of the humor moments being very good over the last years. He started talking. The fans started talking. What are your favorite adventures of mine? And they all said Blink, right? And so Russell T Davies gave a little self-deprecating humor that Blink is the best episode of the show, which he did not write. which is funny. And then Gatwa kept on going off on his episodes, going, well, what about the Goblin episode? No, blink. And then what about this episode where I was standing on a landmine? No, blink. And so self-deprecating wise, they all didn't like the blink element. Or they all wanted blink, sorry, and they all didn't like the current ones, right? And so it's like Russell T Davies knows that the current ones are not as good and that he's not writing the current ones, and he did add that in as self-deprecating humor, which I was very surprised about because the guy's shown such an ego through all this stuff. That was an interesting stuff. Now, the fans cease to exist, and that's kind of a thing. And of course, and then he goes back, and the plot line is he is like, well, the evil being wants light to become more real and to become more powerful and all that. But when exposed to too much light, he ends up just dispersing throughout the universe as light because he just gets too much of it. And Gatwa says it's like a human can drown in water, even though we're made of 60% water. And this was pretty cool. This was an interesting science fiction sort of way of handling this, which is what we want out of the show. So that element was very, very good. What a creepy character. The cartoon character was really neat and just like and super creepy. Like I said, I thought this was really, really, really well done. And had all the elements of a great Doctor Who episode other than those couple of moments right there. So this was by far the best thing that's been done out of this entire multiple seasons of Doctor Who under Russell T Davies coming back, and better than anything in the Jodie Whittaker era as well. This is honestly an 8 out of 10 episode. I got to knock it a couple points for those little politics stuff, but the companion progressed in a way where I actually cared about her at this point. And things like the Doctor actually came up with a cool solution for one. Oh, there's one other moment. The Doctor stops and cries again. Stop doing that in these episodes. Whatever. I know you've already filmed it, BBC and Russell T Davies. Just cut those out, please. Please cut them out. It's really time. And then we'll have a much better show. But yeah, I got to dock it a couple points for that. But this was like really good. And I risk saying that because I know how things are in this current internet environment. You have to, just because Russell T Davies says something, it all has to be bad and all, I don't play that game. And if you follow along, I just tell it like it is. And hopefully that's why you like watching this channel here. All right, leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Happy Easter, everybody. Hit the like and subscribe button. Make sure to check out my science fiction if you like my thoughts on writing and the like. As I analyze it from the writing perspective, and as you could see, like I know what I'm talking about. I know the elements of theme and depth and the like, and that's why my books are good and sell as well. Check it out and support our channel, guys. Thank you for being here. It's in the description below. We'll be back soon.